Alright guys, welcome back to Project Zero, the R project. Slice of life, cramp slice of life, place for sharing and checking in with orphans who don't have a proper role model and so on and so forth. This is the main topic of this video, you can't tell. And I'm going to switch scenes here, it's fairly small right now. Okay, that's the wrong one. That's also the wrong one. Over to this scene. So you can see here, where I have a motorcycle helmet, and below that, some rollerblades. And I'll put them down now because let me just say that the rollerblades are really heavy to hold one arm continuously, and then I got the motorcycle helmet, which is just clunky to hold on to. So place that down. Those are topics of this video. Actually, it's more than that. If you can turn the camera down so you can see, we're going to cover all the sports gear. So that includes the rollerblades, which are out of the focus right now. It's actually behind me over here to the side here. And then you got the helmet on the side over here. And then we have the sports gear in the bag that we already covered before, as well as some other stuff here like protective first aid stuff and other stuff that needs to go away. Give it back to an old friend. So it's all just a bunch of gear. It's specifically like outdoor gear, work attire, that kind of stuff, and that's the main topic. So without further ado, the main topic, the main questions. What's the main highlight of your day? So be positive, don't overshare any personal information. Secondly, anything you want to vent or, no bad news is good news, of course, but you can always do that. Further, there's also, if there's anything that's relevant to the topics of this video, which has to do with sports, you can always feel free to chime in once again in the YouTube section or the Discord or the Reddit page. And then there's, two other questions. Again, it's all posted every video down below. So yeah, just trying to build a little bit of back and forth engagement where we check in on each other. Very straightforward, but without further ado, let's just cover the topics at hand. Introduction will be saved at the end of the video. I think it's fairly redundant at this point. So let's start with the most dirty piece of equipment that we have to get rid of, or not get rid of, but move to storage. And that's this pair of rollerblades there. It's a pain in the butt to do, but to hold up. But here we have these rollerblades there. I'm trying to get in the right lighting. And these are Laiku brand. I think I covered it before, very briefly. 4 wheels here, I believe at 88 and 90 millimeter wheels. 90 on the larger end of the skirts, and then the inner end is smaller. Got the laces. It's got one of these buckles because it is a beginner. These are beginner rollerblades, and the cushion is fairly sturdy. It's got a hard plastic shell on the outside, you can hear that. And I have inside a bag, it says morning wear, corral, and more. World Kitchen. I think this was from one of those gift bags I received when I was still volunteering, I think. And they're being held together. There's obviously a left and right blade held together by this blue handle that they give us as a part. Comes with the package. Now, of course, at the very bottom, you can see the blades themselves, the wheels, and down there, I think it's fairly important to showcase, but there's some screw hinges that you're supposed to bolt in. But
wouldn't be going anywhere this summer. Lease the 2023 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 custom for the
and there are also brakes that are bolted in as well. So you gotta tighten the bolts on those once in a while. Yeah, you gotta tighten those bolts in, and then puts the brakes on, as well as it keeps the wheels from jittering back and forth. So you gotta do that periodically. And rollerblades are kind of difficult of a sport to get into, precisely because it's just difficult to put them on and off. It takes like roughly, you gotta secure it onto your ankles and everything. And usually it takes like 5 minutes to 10 minutes, and it's just not something you could in 10 to 15 seconds. Just no, If it's a skateboard or a bicycle, all you gotta do is just move it out the garage. Whereas a skateboard, you just bring it with you by hand, so it's fairly easy. Versus a rollerblade, you have to actually equip it and tighten it properly and secure it, and then you gotta check the wheels and make sure that it's not sturdy. That takes more time, of course, than just going on a rollerblade or going on a bike even. So that's one thing that's gonna go to storage. We're definitely not gonna be rollerblading here. I had plans to still be able to do that, but the situation's escalated and now I can't. So next we have the rollerblading makeshift improv helmet. This is of course a motorcycle helmet. It's not a rollerblading helmet, but I want something really secure, and I thought might as well get this in case one day we do, because we do prefer these kind of like a solo independent vehicles or methods of transportation. And so this is a motorcycle helmet. I believe we've covered it before. Jika. I don't remember what the brand is. I think that is the brand actually. It's a large size helmet. On the inside there's a button you can press down, and then you can basically also lift the visor up like this. So, and there's a breathing apparatus here that you can click on up and down, and it releases the holes for you to breathe in and out of. So if you have a full face helmet on, of course you can actually press down here, and in fact what that does is it releases not just the visor but the entire front face can come up just like this. And so now it becomes like a half helmet, right? Now it looks like this. And every time this happens, what it reminds me of is like if you guys remember a very classic old movie called Terminator 2 with Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? It's like the android at that time looked a lot like this, because it was just this entire silver blob, and it took control, or it took the body, the humanoid body of a motorcycle driver, a police on motorcycle, and that's what it reminds me of here. But basically that's just a bit of a tangent, and I'll pull it back down. It's supposed to be pretty secure, that's why I have to use both hands like this, and it clicks when I do go bring all the way down. Okay, so that's that. And on the inside I also have the case for the motorcycle helmet as well, which is really just like a very silky smooth bag. Of course, inside it has the buckles as well for the neck, right, to brace it, and you tighten it under your chin. And yeah. Okay, there are other features here that I could mention, but it's not really that important for us to mention what they are. For example, there's the visor, and then there's also a breathing apparatus at the very back, or that allows wind to get through in and out. Right at the very top, you can allow air to come in and out as well. I believe to give you more air and ventilation from the top. I'm not sure exactly though. Anyways, that's the Rollerblade, aka motorcycle helmet. So both of these, of course, this and the Rollerblade. I'm not gonna pick it up again. Go inside the cart over there behind me after this, and we'll be able to move this all storage unit, as well as the food volunteering, the seniors home, which for the record they're having an active living fair, that's what they call it, this weekend, and I'm going to be assisting them with that around 9 until about mid-afternoon 3. So that should be a little bit interesting. I haven't been volunteering for this organization for, because of the pandemic. It's just not safe for the seniors at the time, but people are far more resilient and stronger now, and the virus is like pretty much just like even less than the flu at this point now. So definitely we're back to normal, and people are stronger now, and they're having the fair now. So anyways, that's just related to food bank. So food bank food. And all of that is going with the motorcycle gear and the rollerblading gear inside that part. So in addition to that, as I mentioned at the beginning, I pointed the camera down. Let's do that again. There's all this stuff here on the side that's also relevant, and it's all gear once again. Bags. We have some spare bags here. We're going to use these to wrap up the electronic drawers, the drawer for the electronics, which one of them I'm going to actually pass a storage device temporarily because one of my siblings wants to save some files. I'm going to do that later. I just got reminded of that actually when I saw the bags here, but that's great. But underneath those bags, what's really gotta be. That's all this gear here. And as I said, you know, somewhere in this video at the beginning, video podcast, we had in fact covered all the equipment inside. Scarves, you know, well, volunteer. When I was volunteering at the hospital, the scarf is from a fellow volunteer. Cherish it deeply. I know I'll probably never see her again, but fantastic individual with a bit of a tragic life, but you know, that's how it is with most people at that age at the time. And then inside here we have more gear, like motorcycle gear here for the front and the back, particularly for spinal protection. So again, we're going to secure all this. We're going to tie it up and put it inside. The sun is shining. There's a cold drink in your hand. Someone hands you a plate with cart fresh, as well. Soft buns, a spatula. For a motorcycle helmet, I think we can just leave it as is. We don't need to package it up. The rollerblades, in fact, are too dirty, and so I actually just realized I'm not going to put that inside the cart. I'm probably going to have to hold it by hand, and it's going to be a bit of a it's going to be a real drag, but we're going to find a way to do that. Now, more stuff on the right hand side that we're going to try to get rid of. Okay, we still got time.
Gentlemen's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly
when it comes to transport, we definitely have a bit of a habit now. We have a good routine and methods. We have good methodology and strategies now for basically taking the laptop out and working at the very luxurious shopping mall and peace and quiet. So this is the laptop bag for that. And in fact, there's some stuff here I should probably put inside one of the jackets, but that would be for over the weekend. So that's also gotta go. And then over here we have some important gear. I said gear. This is kind of goes hand in hand with some of the stuff that was inside that bag. But most of the stuff inside that bag is actually for rollerblading. Some of it is actually for the security, you know, PTSD uniform that I had when I was still very attached to that. And that wasn't too long ago. That was probably just 2 months ago. And I would carry this as well with me. So what this is of course a first aid kit. And I believe I made a video on this if I haven't already. But we will do this most likely again in the future. But first aid kit from Survive Ware brand. No, we definitely covered this. And inside there's like all sorts of things. I can open it up for you so you can see, but just very briefly, but there's not a whole lot point covering it second time. So we have like pressurized bandages, right, skin cleaning wipes, cotton gauze swabs, all that kind of stuff. Adhesive dressing, like just good around stuff, CPR kits, matches, right, just Advil. We have Advil here. Fire Day 2024, November, so it's like time for that. So I'm just gonna seal it back up again. And on this is actually some other interesting stuff. For example, some trinkets here in case we lose this bag, because it's actually got a spare key. I won't say for what. And also has an alarm, which if I pull this, it's very loud. I'm not going to do that because it's unfortunately around almost midnight, so I won't pull it. But it's a really loud, like 120 decibel alarm. Yeah. So if it gets lost, you know, there's this Ware AMP service where people will be able to return it. So if they have the goodwill to do that, which I don't believe they will, but if they do, that'd be great. So this also goes inside. This is clean, it's easy to put away. We're gonna put it inside the car as well. And you see a whole other bag here. This is definitely also to be used here. So I'm gonna keep this inside the household for now. You know what? I think I'm gonna wrap it up with that because the rest of the stuff should be wrapped up with that. So here's the last thing I'll cover. Turns out that I might not do everything yet. No, we will. So what we have here are some black straps for tightening, securing wares, like products and parts inside shipping. And I felt these boards might be useful, so like after I cut some when I was at my previous workplace, I took some, I saved it, and I put it here. Now it's not likely that I'll be able to find a purpose for it because you can't really tighten these plastic binds easily. If you worked in warehouse, you know what these are. It's incredibly difficult to tighten because of the way that the material is and the structure itself. So you would have to use one of those clamps that binds one of these metal clips together, which I don't have that kind of equipment. So, but that's actually where I want to leave it. And the reason why is because I thought I was going to cover this stuff over there, which is at the very far left. You see like some blue uniforms there, but I realized that there's something else that I can do that makes a lot more sense. And I think the next video, what I'm going to do is, if you see behind me in the closet area, oh, you can barely see it because the mic's in the way right now, but just trust me when I say this. Here, I'm going to move it around. See that? Behind my head. And I'm going to try and move my hand around so they can point out the right direction. Okay. So if you see that over there, that's actually security cam. Okay. Trying to make it work. There, security camera, as well as below that motion sensor light. And further below there, in the closet, which you cannot see, is actually a fax machine. So we're going to try and cover all that at the same time. And the reason is because not only are they all electronics, but the fax machine is meant to be donated. Like we don't have any use for that. And so what I'm going to do is it's actually a gift item as well. I'm going to turn to the side here on the right hand side and say, you know, that stuff also needs to be gone away. It's also it was an item, not a gift item, but we just had it. We held on to it because at the time a connection, let's just say, an acquaintance helped me get a job. This was more than a decade ago, actually, and think back on it. And so we're going to return those uniforms. It's for an automotive company like Jeep, Wrangler, Chrysler, Chevrolet, stuff like that. And then underneath we have Toyota, whatever, Honda, Hyundai. And then there's also something else we want to get rid of as well. So there's going to be a lot of stuff we can get rid of. So I think that's the plan for the next video. Now, unfortunately, I can't record anymore right now. I actually have to do some important stuff after this video, aside from just uploading. I have to pay certain bills that I realized suddenly today. After connecting with my new place coordinator, she mentioned to me that, in fact, it's not been paid down, unfortunately. So, for whatever reasons that I won't discuss in this video. I've got some stuff there I gotta do that's very important, as well as other things relating to an offer in terms of employment. So gotta upload some background checks and stuff like that. again, that's for the future. We'll talk more about that kind of stuff with chance, but and so I'm gonna leave tabs open so that a good reminder of what's going on. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one. And again, there's all that equipment and gear that we had. Finally, we can move it out, and I'm so stoked because I've been waiting to take that car and move all this crap out of here. Can't wait for it. Just can't wait. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.
Feel better?
Peace out. So,
good. Because calm
is
once again, its best breathing exercises, sleep stories, meditations, and more. Right here.
The music says calm.
And for a limited time, try Calm.
I'm not
Premium
feeling that
free
calm
promo.
right now because I'm
Take
so rushed.
50% off an annual subscription.
Yeah.
Sign
Anyways,
up today
peace
at
out.
calm.com/spot.